Hi, I'm Johnny Ainsley.
And I'm Harry Barnes.
And we're very lucky to be here in View Cinema in Piccadilly Circus,
bringing you exclusive coverage from the latest 24th Annual Raindance Film Festival.
Let's get started. I'm Johnny Ainsley here with XTV, today also with another Johnny McDaid from Snow Patrol. How are you?
Very good, thanks Johnny. Good.
It's lovely to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Have you enjoyed the festival so far?
I love it. I love everything about this festival, the independent nature of it, celebrating UK film, international film independently. It's amazing. I love it.
Fantastic. Joining me is Joanna Lumley. It's amazing to meet you. Have you enjoyed your festival experience so far?
So far it's been absolutely dazzling. I understand there was something like 8,000 entries this year, so I can't think how hard everybody's been working. I was a judge in the documentary section and I only had to watch the short list of 5 films, and I must say I found it fabulously difficult but absolutely brilliant to be able to see the work that's going on all around the world about subjects that you hadn't really thought might be addressed. Fascinating.
Managed to get the words absolutely and fabulous into the same sentence. That's wonderful. As a judge here, have you had a chance to dive in with any of the festival?
I have. I never thought of myself as a judge though, I have to say. I just, I was really lucky and I got to see some of the submissions and comment on them, but I don't wear a wig or a robe.
We noticed when we were looking through the nominations this year that only 1 out of 10 of the directors of the Best Film category is female, with Hotel Dallas, and none of the Best Directors are female. Do you think that this festival might have been slightly plagued or touched by the gender imbalance that Hollywood's sort of suffering from?
Do you know, it's really hard because presumably, I mean, this is the most sex blind, if you like, organisation there could be. So I just imagine that not as many women went in for it. Now I don't know why. Maybe women are taking up different parts. Maybe they're in the editing suite. Maybe they're the producers. But if the directors are mostly men, I can't say, well, we must have equal number of women, because I don't think life works like that.
Has the virtual reality side of things captured you? I know there's an arcade on at the moment, or animation perhaps.
I know. I'm sort of slightly suspicious of this. I come from such an old school because I'm old enough to be your great-grandmother, Johnny. And the truth is, I was brought up to that seeing, smelling, touching, feeling works for me better than simply taking it in. I believe in reality, so I'm looking for reality. Are you a Pokemon Go person?
You know, I'm actually not. I'm really not.
Nor am I.
After meeting and greeting some of Raindance's celebrity judges, we rushed over to catch a few film screenings. We've actually also managed to look at 2 short films, Dunroamin and Running Eagle, in considerably more depth. And I personally enjoyed them both immensely. I found Dunroamin a really touching, intimate drama about a man, a wife and a lover. However, we were never really quite sure exactly what was going on in the film until the very end, because as it unravelled, we learned more and more about what exactly made the relationship in this family dysfunctional. I'm here with the director Oliver Milburn and his cinematographer Ed, surname?
More.
From the wonderful film at the Raindance Festival, Dunroamin.
If you were to ask me what my, central thing that I keep finding myself coming back to is the idea of happiness built, happiness that is buildable in any way, that is attainable, that is achievable, that is in any way made out of a collection of things, a collection of points of your life which you need to get to. And I think she's built up this series of the house and the marriage and all those things. I don't think people's lives and emotions and inherent structure as human beings works like that. I don't believe it. And you see so many articles online about how to be happy and the ways to happiness, as if happiness is some achievable thing. And I think that that's ultimately what the film's about. And you've got all these, exactly like you say, a conflict between what appears to be real on the surface and what is emotionally real, which is so much more complicated, I think, in life, and that's what I try to do in film. I don't think you can. Yeah, I think we simplify our lives externally to an extent that is utter bollocks, basically.
Fair enough, bollocks it is.
Yeah.
We found that there was a really raw tension in the film, which seems to stem quite a lot from what is unseen rather than seen. How do you think this will touch audiences watching a 14-minute short?
So in terms of tension building, I try and not have a heavy hand. We had such incredible actors that you didn't need to do much other than just put them in a frame and hear them performing Ollie's script to get tension.
The intimate domestic environment of the film only sort of exacerbated the feeling that I, as a viewer, was intruding on the characters' very private lives and home space. Was it your intention to really push this inside their heads?
You're with Sarah's character, really, in that you know as much about Rob's character as she does at any given point. You get a little sort of moment at the start of the film, but enough to pique your interest, but nothing more, really.
Now it's time for us to give a rather more personal take on some of the films we've seen this weekend. It's always obviously been very varied, the programme, but we've certainly had our favourites. And Harry's going to start with The Power to Change.
Yes, so The Power to Change was a film which is all about the future of the world's energy. The message of the film is that the world needs to transition to 100% renewable energy, and that the change is going to be from the ground up rather than the top down. It painted sort of a picture of there being a rebellion going on with a few key people leading it, and took us to some of the protests which they were doing, where they were raising awareness for the cause. I thought it was a really nice film. The filming was beautiful. It had some amazing shots and some really nice interviews with people who are part of the rebellion.
One of my personal favourites was The Train Driver's Diary, which looks at a very, very surreal relationship between a father and his adoptive son. The father, whom is a train driver and in his career has murdered over 30 people, but of course completely by accident. So suicides or unfortunate victims who are just in the wrong place at the wrong time haunt his memories, and he has to sort of introduce the child that he loves so dearly into this really crazy world. And it takes a very, very dark but humorous tone, I guess, and has to, for people who have to acquaint themselves with the fact that they kill people over the course of their career, which I found quite humbling.
So, here we are back in Piccadilly Circus for the second last day of the Raindance Film Festival. We're just about to go in to see a piece called Webfest, The Age of Absurdity, which is a load of series created for the web, to see how this new media form is different from traditional stuff. There have been some films at the festival this year that have taken advantage of recent developments in technology like virtual reality and smartphones to bring a totally new experience to the movie viewer. One of these such films was called Late Shift, a thriller about a regular guy who gets abducted by a gang at gunpoint and forced to help them steal this expensive Ming bowl. But this isn't a standard movie because the audience all download this app onto their smartphones, and they can play along by choosing the protagonist's decisions in real time. And the movie doesn't stop. Every sort of 15 seconds something just comes up saying, please make a choice, and then you choose. So the audience is very much responsible for what happens, and that makes it extremely engaging as a viewer. Earlier this week we had the chance to catch up with Baptiste, Planche, the producer of the movie. So Baptiste, could you tell me a little bit about The Late Shift, the concept and how it works?
Yeah, well, you were there yesterday night, you experienced it in a movie theater. Basically you're watching a movie, and from time to time you can take decisions on behalf of the protagonist. It's very close to a traditional movie, but what changes is that you take responsibility for the acts of the protagonist. So it's a feature-length movie, 90 minutes or so, but we have 4 hours of film.
I have to say that for me, the interactive part of it made it an incredibly engaging piece of cinema, and I've never felt more awake in a film and paying attention to every move, knowing I had to make a decision based on what I've seen in a moment. And also the sense of group responsibility you feel with the other members of the cinema audience makes it really interesting, as well as the mystique that you don't know how else it could have gone, because you never get to see it again. You can't rewatch it and go back. But do you think that watching it on your own on, say, an iPhone app, because there is an iPhone app, isn't there?
Yes.
Do you think you lose a lot of the appeal in that format?
it's true, it's also an app, so you can watch it individually on your own and take the decisions on your own, and then you're solely responsible. The interactive quality we've put in it, so that the seamlessness of how it works is, I think, is the unique and really new thing about it with what we've created. I don't think it's less interesting, it's just different.
Let's move on to talking about the development of the late shift. So what kind of challenges did you face that are unusual for a filmmaking environment when you're making a film which has this interactive element?
Well, I would say first of all, like when you talk about interactive film, it's multi-branched storytelling, multi-optional storytelling. So if you write a story, it can become complex quite quickly. So I think creatively in writing, it's demanding, but also then afterwards when you produce it, you just have to produce more. You have to keep an overview. You have to be well organized.
Who did you work with in the creation of the technological element for this film?
Our company, it's Ctrl Movie. It's our small team. We are based in Switzerland. We're 3-4 people working on it. It's mainly the film's director, Tobias Weber. In his person, he marries the tech and the creative side of things.
Do you have any other film on the go at the moment using this technology that you're going to bring it in with?
Not concretely, but I'm quite sure that we will do a horror film next, probably, because we really get the exactly because every time we say it, people say, "Oh wow," and yeah. So I think this could be really be fun, and it might also be interesting to do a romantic comedy. Building on these moments where you have like this boy-girl things going on and all of that. I think that's interesting.
One thing that I noticed is that despite the interactive element of the film making it really engaging, I couldn't help but wondering, do the audience's choices actually have a meaningful impact on the direction of the film up until maybe 75% of the way through, or does it just give them an illusion of control?
No, certainly not just an illusion. You could compare it with a 3-act piece. Mm-hmm. So in the first act, until the end of the first act, you have an almost linear storyline. But then it really diverges, and you have actually most of the decisions you take really make a difference.
So as you know, earlier today we saw Webfest and the Age of Absurdity, which was a series of sort of short videos created for the web series, which is a new format which has only appeared in recent years. So now we're going to tell you a bit about them.
I must admit, very difficult for us at points. There was a lot of fare which was YouTube-esque in quality and theme. It felt very, very much relationship-based, obviously millennial really, which was admitted by the woman who introduced the shorts. Said, this is called The Age of Absurdity because to many people it seems utterly perplexing.
And on that bombshell of perplexion, we headed home. We've headed down to Covent Garden, where Raindance have set up a virtual reality arcade inside the hospital club. What do you think it's going to be like, Johnny?
I really have no idea. I haven't seen a virtual reality film before, but to be honest, I imagine I'm going to start feeling sick.
Possibly. Well, hopefully we'll hold on to our stomachs. Let's go and see it. Me and Johnny just had the chance to watch a few virtual reality films on various devices. They had an HTC Vive, an Oculus Rift and Samsung Gear VRs here. One film that you watched, Johnny, was
Inside the Box of Kurios, which was a fascinating short where you were placed inside almost a sort of circus-like atmosphere and all sorts of weird and wonderful characters popped out. A complete 360 experience, definitely. I'd turn around and there was something completely new behind me. Definitely unexpected, really rather enjoyable. Yeah. Harry, I know that you were already captivated by Tomorrow. What was that all about?
It was a film which kind of traced back the history of storytelling from the beginning of time and took us on this wonderful panoramic journey of the Earth as it develops, and did some amazing sweeps close to mountains and close to the ground. You were sort of flying forwards, and it felt really quite exhilarating. In virtual reality, you felt like you might be about to hit the ground, and you have these amazing views, and you could look around everywhere, see the mountains, see these wonderful landscapes that you'd never normally be able to see, which was all while it was being narrated by this amazing narrator talking about how narration's changed over the years.
The final one that we, I guess, really want to talk about is Home. Harry, what do you think of that?
So yeah, I mean, Home was really awesome, very different. It was an interactive experience, which was on the HTC Vive, which has these two handheld controllers that you can sort of you can move around, and then you can squeeze them to grip. So they're your arms essentially, and you can control the arms of a spaceman who's in space, and you get given various missions to do. Like you have to go and repair a piece of the International Space Station, and like move joysticks around, take photos, and it's sort of like a gamified film in that if you don't do missions in time, you will fail, and the course of the film will change.
Harry, did you succeed?
No, I ran out of fuel before getting back to base, so
and died.
Yeah, I died.
Whereas I actually was the first person this weekend to complete the programme.
So Home was probably the most professional one. It was created by the BBC themselves, like with Tom Burton, a well-known virtual reality director at the moment, and I really liked it.
It was really exhilarating. Very luckily, we both managed to have a go on it, and we both also noticed was it genuinely gave us a feeling of complete discombobulation, nausea.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in Home, when I detached from the International Space Station, I went circling into this spiral, just getting faster and faster and faster, seeing the stars whiz by, and I felt so ill. Like I was almost like gonna die. I was like, oh, this is really serious now.
But great fun nonetheless. See what's up next. I'm here with Konrad Fiedler, who is the director of the wonderful international short Running Eagle, which has been premiering here for the first time. Konrad, how are you feeling about getting your film to a festival?
Very excited because this is my first festival, and I feel like it's found a good home at Raindance.
What inspired you to take on the challenge of making this film?
Well, a couple years ago, I was road tripping across the country and came across a bunch of Indian reservations, as well as this part of North Dakota that's currently the kind of the epicenter of the oil boom, and just happened upon a book about 6 months later at a bookstore called Dakota that combined all of these elements, and I went through the process of optioning that book.
Well, after optioning, how, I guess, did you adapt to the challenge of adapting a novel into a film?
I don't recommend this, but I basically transcribed the entire book, and then it went through a process of cutting it down piece by piece. This, it ended up being a 300-page script that is now a workable 110, but the short is a prologue for that novel. It's based on the first couple pages of the novel, and we extrapolated from there to make it a self-contained short film.
How closely did you work with the Blackfeet Nation tribe and in this film? And do you think that the film has a comment to make upon race?
You know, we work very closely, and they are new, amazing friends of mine. As far as political commentary, I really just tried to tell a story that was based on a book, but there are obvious sort of underpinnings about how indigenous people see the world and contrasted with the American oil industry and how they're treating the land in our country. So without being overtly political, I think the movie does make these contrasts and comparisons.
How did you cast for such a movie?
Well, we got some great tips from both casting directors in Los Angeles that knew a lot of Native actresses, and I must give a shout out to Lily Gladstone, who is another very prominent Blackfeet actress, and she also recommended our star Devery Jacobs, who is a rising star in Canada and is in a great film called Rhymes for Young Ghouls that won an award in 2013.
Were there any challenges filming out in the wild in North Dakota or Montana?
Yeah, well, bears were sort of a fear. We had a set medic and safety coordinator, Michael Camposano, who was essential to sort of like making us feel a little bit more comfortable. He was from Montana, and you know, the cold was it wasn't as cold as normal. So it was cold, but it wasn't extreme. But and getting around with snowshoes helped, and we had sleds for our gear, and we tagged along on a buffalo hunt. That herd belongs to the Blackfeet Nation, and they sanctioned the hunt, and we, for our film, tagged along to capture that. Yeah.
Thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Running Eagle was about a sex worker who managed to escape from a confinement in Northern America. And her journey was also incredibly human and incredibly well performed. What really struck me was how calm and composed the lead actress was all throughout. She remained stoic in the face of adversity. They managed to sustain a storyline that kept you on the edge of your seat in absolutely beautiful surroundings, contrasting with the really, really dark subject matter. Let's get back to the festival.
We've rushed off to the red carpet awards ceremony to finish our Raindance experience with a bang.
What were you looking for as a judge this year?
The skill of the direction of the film, how it's presented, and whether the story is held true, builds to some shape, because remember, you're entertaining people.
The most important part of it all is some sort of authenticity, really, for me.
I'm here with Jonathan Tenthwal. You are the winner and holder of Best Director, Best Film, and Best Actor, which is an incredible haul for The Shepherd.
Yeah.
How on earth do you feel?
I'm
Speechless?
I'm speechless. I'm blown away.
We're with the crew and directors of Camper, the new discovery film of the festival. Guys, how does it feel to have won this amazing award?
I feel like if we're in a fairy tale story.
Were amazed to see your film this week, and really, really happy that Zendog won the Raindance Film of the Festival. How do you guys feel?
It's incredible. It's such an honor to be here. The festival staff have been truly amazing and just remarkable. They've been so kind to us, and to be amongst so many amazing films. The one thing that really impressed me about this festival was how every single feature and short film was truly unique and different. I didn't see two things that felt the same.
Here with the amazing Selling Isabel, which has won the Indie Award of the festival. How do you feel?
I feel a little bit overwhelmed, sweaty, still shaky. I'm very, very happy to be awarded for such a film with such a cause behind it.
That cause, it is especially important to get the message out, especially with sex crime being one of the highest rising crimes in the UK at the moment. Do you find that the film will be an important voice in that topic?
I would like it to be.
Eloise From, co-writer of Pan American Machinery, a winner of Best Screenplay here at Raindance, 24th Raindance. The screenplay is, of course, the basis of every short film. Your writing process, is there anything particularly unique to you?
Like, my master's was in fine art painting. So like a lot of the way that we built the screenplay was through drawings and actually like drawing out like scenes and people and then putting them all on the floor and arranging them around. So in many ways, like the whole writing process had like a kind of a visual element to it that was really key. It's creating a kind of mosaic of stories interconnected with no central hero or protagonist.
Just go make a film. No, literally, it's so simple. Like that camera, the scenes in my film show with that camera.
Camera?
A worse one. Mine was a 1200D.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm here with Eliot Grove, who is the founder and owner of Raindance Festival. This is your 24th year. How do you feel the festival's grown?
Well, we just somehow word gets out and people tell their friends, people like you tell your friends and your audience.
What are you most proud of this year?
Well, I think today the awards show, the atmosphere in the room has been really electric, yes? And having people like you come adds a little bit of cachet to the event. And I'm just pleased to see people enjoying themselves.
And I guess that's part of the independent spirit of the festival.
Yeah, we have to help each other because it's such a difficult world right now. And we don't have the marketing clout of Hollywood, so we have to join forces and try to help each other out. And the filmmakers are very generous with each other.
So it's the final night of Raindance 2016. We've had an absolute blast over the last couple of days.
It's been an absolute pleasure to be invited here and to interview so many interesting people. We've been XTV. See you next year.